Let's start with Hamas attack. What do you think that was it a planned attack, or what it seems to be an inside job in some people's opinion? So what do you think about it?
Right. Asad bhai, I think it's important to look at the circumstantial evidence when we look at this attack. Look, I think we have to be pragmatic with the fact that we are talking about Hamas, which is an organization, a small organization. No doubt it is representing Gaza, but Gaza itself, if we would look at the geography, is only a 46 kilometer by 9 kilometer strip, jam-packed with 2.3 million people, but still a very small piece of land. It is smaller than the present-day Islamabad. So if we look at that piece of land and we look at Israel on the other side, which is the world's most advanced and technologically superior state, with a standing army and with all the technological advancement, in that context, when we look at this attack, things become very unusual. I would say the circumstances surrounding this Hamas attack should be questioned rationally first before we draw any other conclusions out of it. Look, we have to look at the situation on the ground as to how Israel has planned to defend itself, because Hamas has been there for a very long time. Israel has always known and multiple times have gone into conflict with Hamas and in Gaza, where rockets have been fired, skirmishes have happened, they've tried to breach the borders. So what has happened this time is extremely unusual. Now, if we look at things from ground reality, then we have to analyze how this border has been developed or protected by Israel. Look, this is the world's most fortified and well-guarded border. Now, when you look at Israel, Israel has the most superior technology in the world when it comes to intelligence gathering, when it comes to interception of communication, satellite networks, human intelligence, or any other technology which is used today for defense purposes, because it's the world's number one exporter of defense or intelligence gathering equipment in the world as well. So now that technology and that state power is now focused on that 46 by 9 kilometer piece of strip, right? Then you have a border which is a live border. So both parties know that there is a constant threat. This border, the Gaza-Israel border, is a 3-layer border, right? 3 layers of defense. And they have fiber optic human detection, motion detection, cameras, vigilance, backup forces. In fact, the backup or the response, the quick response force, which is their regular military units, is only 2 minutes. So the regular army is always on alert. So now, in that situation, we are saying that Hamas was able to breach the border, break that fence, the 3-layered security system, with a tractor or with a bulldozer. Then there were fighters on bikes and paragliders. Very few paragliders, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen paragliders, and rest on motorbikes. Entering into Israel, taking over 20 plus towns and massacring 1,400 people and taking away 229 people as hostages. And for 3 hours, there was no Israeli army. There was no response.
Yes.
The Israeli military response came after 3 hours, whereas this entire setup is on a 2-minute response.
And they
protocol.
gave the explanation that the soldiers were on the leave.
On leave or on holidays, on an active border.
On an active border.
So my point is that this itself is extremely abnormal and unusual. And where I would like to leave it and kind of put in front of you is the scenario which was behind the 9/11 event in US. The event happened. The event was conducted by a few people from Saudi Arabia mainly, or Egypt, right? It was accepted by Al-Qaeda. And then after that, over a span of 20 years, 5 Muslim countries were destroyed.
Starting from Afghanistan.
Starting from Afghanistan, which had nothing to do with 9/11, then Iraq, then Syria, then Libya, and then through Saudi, the Yemeni war. So 5 Muslim countries were destroyed, millions of Muslims were killed, and the context was 9/11, which is as unusual.
And our FATA area as well in Pakistan throughout
Yes,
that year.
yes, we have suffered because of the war in
Yes.
Afghanistan. But the circumstances behind 9/11, a few people took 6-month pilot training on Cessna aircrafts, hijacked the Boeings, did maneuvers that experienced pilots cannot do, hit the 2 Twin Towers, and also Pentagon, the world's most guarded military installation. So they were able to do that. So as unusual as it was 9/11 is the Hamas attack. So let's leave it there. But it is very unusual.
Okay, but many people, like in the past, they will put this in the conspiracy theorist, but we don't want to comment on it. So,